Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're checking out something called The Entire Screen of One Game by developer Tom7 from the LD31 Game Jam with the theme of entire game on one screen. Now based on those two statements I just made, you can probably start to put together what's going on here, and probably you've just watched it for a moment and figured it out yourself. There's also a little blurb next to the thing that says, "You can't win the game, it exists only to destroy your mind." So that's the kind of mind state that we're going into this with. It's a little bit of a doodle, perhaps an optical illusion, not so much a game, but every so often I love to cover something a little experimental and just outside of the box. In this case, well, we're getting about as far outside of the box as we can get until we find ourselves back inside of the box yet again. So there is a little bit of an interactivity to this before we say it's over and done with, because honestly, this is what it's going to do forever. It's just going to keep backing away until presumably I run out of RAM or something, and then it's just going to crash. But I've let it go for a good 40 minutes or so, and it's never done that. So maybe I just have a nice computer or something. I'm not sure exactly, but it's a neat effect, and I really like watching it for some reason. So we can use spacebar if we choose, and that's going to cause all the boxes to jump together at the same moment. And you can see, if you look at the sort of meta box that's going inside of each box, that you can tell we're actually getting reasonably high up in this tube, as it were. And we can also use arrow keys to go left and right. Now that's less of an important detail right now because, well, we were stuck in that area. But there we go, we've broken free. Now we're going to kind of hop along, and all of these boxes are going to move together at the same time as we find ourselves going from the green to all of a sudden assuming control of the red, and we've been maybe shot back a little bit in terms of spacing, and we're all kind of just floating about freely, aren't we, at this point? So this whole little maze does not really exist for much of a point other than just to confuse your mind and perhaps keep you kind of going on forever in the pursuit of thinking there's something going on outside of what you can see. I think the closest I've gotten so far was to escape the boundaries of the level design, which is not impossible to do if you leave it alone long enough, because the cubes all start stacking up in that tunnel, and then eventually you can actually just jump out, since they keep spawning down in this bottom, I guess this is like your 0-0 coordinate axis area. Eventually you'll get a tall enough group of them, and you basically just hop over the edge, and then before you know it, as you're falling indefinitely, your cube will just spawn its way back inside of the maze area. It's a very strange effect. It's very cool to look at. I mean, again, there's not a whole lot to talk about with this one, but I mostly just wanted to show it to you because it's just a strange and cool thing. It kind of fits the theme of the channel, you know, unexpected little visual oddities and experimental toys and things like that. I love finding that kind of stuff, and in fact, I encourage you guys, if you know anything else out there that fits this kind of a strange optical illusion template, feel free to let me know. I always enjoy just looking at them, even if I don't cover them all on the show. I'm almost tempted to just stop talking and just leave this alone and let it just phase for a while. And, well, this part is always especially cool when you run into a pile of them at the same time, and then there's one that's the same color as the background, so it sort of looks like there's a bunch of little jelly beans bouncing around or something like that. It's a peculiar thing that I just said there. I'm aware of this. So yeah, that's kind of it. That's really all I can really say about this one. Yeah, it exists only to destroy your mind. That is the case. I would have kind of liked to see if there was maybe some sort of gamification going on here. I wonder how that could even happen. I'm sort of imagining like a meta Thomas Was Alone or something manifesting itself in here, that, you know, maybe there's worlds within worlds being created and destroyed, and ultimately each one of these boxes is its own character and its own identity, and they all have their own hopes and fears and worries, and maybe some way through the endless reforming and transcending of our existence, we can come out the other side maybe a little bit the wiser, or maybe learn a lesson, or, you know, sustain some kind of message. I don't know, maybe that's maybe a little too grandiose for something like this, because there's plenty of room for things that exist that are just more fun little tricks of, you know, development and code and optical illusions. I'm kind of amazed, honestly, that it can go on this long without running into any trouble processing, because it seems like a kind of a complex process, actually. I mean, I imagine it culls eventually when it gets deep enough into this well. I'm not really sure when that happens, but you can sort of watch the two little parallel white lines fade away inside of each of the subsequently new boxes. I'm just lining them up to kind of keep things centered here. But we get further and further away, and eventually you can't even see those center lines anymore. It just looks like a couple of pixels worth of red and pink and green. And I guess maybe somewhere at that point, it just completely culls the data in, you know, infinitely. Maybe, is that even, I don't even know what I'm really trying to say with this, because honestly, I don't understand how the process of this works well enough. I guess it would just feed into itself indefinitely, though. But there is the one element that's ticking on upwardly, and that's the fact that these boxes all do constitute into some sort of space with actual mass to them. They don't seem to disintegrate after a while. So if I leave this alone, the longer I leave it alone, the more boxes accrue. But I would think that there is some sort of level to those boxes that they would need to become static at some point, right? Otherwise, well, it would just process indefinitely. I mean, watch as I jump. They do a very strange thing. It is actually maybe killing the frame rate slightly. Oh, we got one of them out of the box. Let's see if we can fall a little bit before it grabs me and pulls me back into the world again. Yep. There we go. Whee! And what's happening here? Oh. Yeah, alright, that was very strange looking. That messed with my head quite a bit, actually. The fact that the blue was what we were focusing on, and then it was also the same color as the background. Very, very strange. So, yeah, I guess that's kind of all I wanted to say about this one. A really interesting little idea, a little project, a little experiment, and I'm into it. I would definitely check out something else like this if it exists. And if someone wants to figure out how to gamify this concept, I would be into that as well. So please let me know your theories in the comments if you have any. What kind of a way would you modify this concept to turn it into more of a gamey game if you were to do such a thing? And of course, if you enjoyed the episode, as always, make sure to leave a like. Always helps out. Be sure to come back again tomorrow. New episodes of the series go up every single day, so there's always going to be a new indie game for you here every single day. If you like the idea of that, make sure you subscribe. That helps out a whole bunch as well. So I look forward to bringing you another one then. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all tomorrow.